Chosen one, someone is being exposed right now, and it feels like the end is closing in while everyone involved is ashamed of what they did to you. A person from your past is sitting in the dark, sweating from fear, not heat. This person got entangled with powerful people who promised success and delivered chains. Now debts are due. Their solution is to shift the burden onto you. Do not accept it. Let's talk about this gift being offered to you. On paper it looks incredible. A home, maybe land, maybe wealth that could change your life. The presentation makes it seem like reconciliation. It makes it look like making amends. It appears to be finally doing right by you after years of wrong. And if you've been struggling, if you've been working hard to build something stable, if you've been dreaming of your own foundation, this offer hits every desire you have. This property has problems, massive problems, legal problems, financial problems, the kind that don't show up until after you've signed the papers and taken ownership. We're talking about debt attached to it, liens you don't know about, back taxes that suddenly become your responsibility, maybe even connections to criminal activity that now have your name on them. The person offering this gift knows about these problems. That's the entire point. The goal isn't to bless you, the goal is to burden you. The goal is to transfer a nightmare onto you before everything explodes, and it's going to explode soon, because there's an investigation happening right now. Authorities are circling, victims are speaking up, the organization is being exposed, and when it all comes crashing down, everyone involved goes down with it. Unless someone else can be found to take the fall, unless distance can be created between the guilty parties and the problem, unless a scapegoat can be identified and blamed, that's where you come in. You were supposed to be so grateful for the gift that you wouldn't ask questions, so eager that you wouldn't get proper legal advice, so trusting of family that you wouldn't suspect the betrayal. But something happened that wasn't planned for. You changed. You're not who you used to be when last seen by these people. You've been refined. You've developed instincts that can't be manipulated. That uncomfortable feeling when contact was made, that hesitation when the offer came, that's not paranoia. That's power. That's your inner knowing, protecting you from a trap that took time to design. While you were being plotted against, someone in the inner circle was watching, someone who couldn't stomach what was being planned, someone who's about to blow the whole thing wide open. This isn't some small operation. This is bigger than most people realize. This group operates like a sophisticated machine. The presentation is professional. They call it a business opportunity, an exclusive network, a community of successful people. Targets are identified carefully. People with potential, people with resources, people with something the organization wants. Your family member got recruited into this organization. It probably seemed amazing at first. Doors opened that were previously closed. Money came easier. Success felt accessible. It seemed like the secret had finally been found. But what was really found was a trap that closes slowly. By the time you realize you're caught, it's too late to escape without consequences. Here's how these organizations work. Money isn't the only goal. These groups want control. These groups want leverage. Situations are created where people become bound through debt, through secrets, through fear. Once you're in deep enough, you're owned. You can be made to do things you never thought you'd do. You can be used to recruit others. You can be used to hurt people, even people you're related to. And there's something else about this group, something darker. Chosen ones are specifically targeted. The light is recognized by these people. The group knows who's meant to wake others up, who's destined to break generational curses, who's called to expose darkness, and a strategy exists for dealing with people like you. Direct attacks don't happen. That's too obvious. Instead, traps are set. Burdens are created. You get buried under problems until your light dims and your purpose gets delayed. Remember what was said about the past. Something happened. You disrupted something without even knowing it. Maybe it was your choice to walk away from family dysfunction. Maybe it was your refusal to play along with toxic patterns. Maybe it was just you choosing yourself over everyone else's expectations. But that choice created ripples. That choice showed others that breaking free was possible. And this organization noticed. So a plan was developed. Use your family member to get to you. Make it look like reconciliation. Make it feel like answered prayers. Get you to accept something that would trap you legally and financially. Then when everything explodes, you're the one facing consequences while others slip away clean. But here's what wasn't factored in. You've been protected this whole time, and that protection is about to expose everything that was tried to be hidden. Now we're getting to the good part, the part where the perfect plan starts falling apart, because someone in the inner circle saw what was being planned and couldn't live with it. Maybe it's a partner who overheard too many conversations. Maybe it's a friend who was asked to help and realized how evil it actually was. Maybe it's someone in the organization who's been waking up to the truth. Whoever it is, this person is the crack in the dam. This person started asking questions, raising concerns, expressing doubts, and that created panic in the organization, because these operations require everyone staying committed, everyone keeping secrets, everyone maintaining the lie. One person developing a conscience can collapse the entire structure. One person telling truth can expose years of deception. Your family member knows this. That's why there's urgency in the approach. That's why you're being rushed. Time is running out for these schemers. You needed to sign those papers before the exposure accelerates. You needed to be trapped before you realized what was being attempted. But it's too late for the schemers. You already sense something's wrong. You already feel the manipulation. You already see the desperation underneath the polished presentation. And that awareness is your shield. Confusion was needed for their success. Desperation was needed for your compliance. But you're neither confused nor desperate. You're clear, you're protected, you're aligned with truth. If you recognized yourself in this message, hype this video to guide other chosen ones to this truth. Truth is spreading now, from person to person, from conversation to conversation. The whispers are getting louder. People are starting to talk openly. Did you hear what's involved? Did you know what was being tried? Did you realize who's connected? It starts as speculation, then someone confirms a detail, someone adds evidence, someone shares what was witnessed. Suddenly the rumor becomes revelation, the speculation becomes exposure. Your family member feels it happening, the walls closing in, the questions that can't be answered honestly, the looks from people who used to show respect. The stress is showing in ways that can't be hidden. Sleep patterns are destroyed. Behavior is erratic. People close by notice something's deeply wrong. Attempts are made to maintain the facade, but the mask is cracking. Small slips happen. Tiny mistakes occur, each one adding to the portrait of someone hiding something terrible. Then it happens, the moment that changes everything. Maybe it's news breaking. Maybe it's an investigation going public. Maybe it's leaked documents. Maybe it's a victim finally speaking out. But suddenly, what was hidden becomes visible. What was whispered becomes shouted. What was suspected becomes confirmed. The organization is exposed. Names start appearing in reports. Connections get traced. Money trails get followed. And everyone involved is being identified. Your family member's name is in that list, not at the top, not as the ringleader, but connected, complicit, a participant, and as more information surfaces, the role becomes clearer. What was done, who was hurt, how you were planned to be used as an escape route. It's all coming out now. Everything thought to be hidden forever is being displayed for everyone to see. Now everyone knows the truth. The family who thought someone was so successful now sees reality. The friends who admired the lifestyle now understand what it was built on. The community that gave respect now withdraws it. All see the truth now. All understand what's been associated with. All realize who this person really is underneath the performance. And the shame is crushing. Not just the shame of being caught, the shame of being seen, really seen, for all the ugliness tried to be hidden, for all the cruelty tried to be justified, for all the harm caused while wearing a mask of goodness. People are cutting contact, publicly distancing themselves, denouncing any association, because nobody wants to be connected to this scandal. Nobody wants to defend the indefensible. The social circle that once supported is evaporating. The community that once embraced is closing its doors. The transformation is complete, from respected member to outcast, from admired person to cautionary tale, from success story to warning about what happens when you sell your soul to the wrong buyers. You were almost dragged down too, if you had taken that offer, if you had signed those papers, if you had accepted that poisoned gift. You'd be standing in that spotlight right now, facing the same exposure, fighting the same battles, drowning in the same consequences. But you're not there. You're safe, you're clear, you're protected, because you trusted your instincts. You honored your intuition. You refused to compromise your discernment for temporary comfort. Watch how this shame spreads like water, finding every crack. It's not just your family member being exposed. Everyone is connected to this person, everyone who vouched for this person, everyone who introduced others to this organization, everyone who recruited for the group, everyone who benefited from the scheme. All are being looked at differently now. All are being questioned. All are being associated with something that can't be escaped. The community gatherings once dominated, not welcome there anymore. The social circles where celebration once happened, those doors are closing. The business connections once leveraged for credibility, those relationships are being severed. This is what happens when reputation gets tied to corruption, when a name gets linked to schemes that hurt innocent people, when a face becomes associated with betrayal and manipulation. You're not even involved in the downfall. You're not making calls. You're not spreading information. You're not campaigning against anyone. You're simply living your life in peace while natural consequences catch up to everyone involved. That's the power of walking away. That's the strength of refusing to engage. That's the beauty of letting divine justice do what it does without your interference. Other people are doing the work of exposure. Other victims are coming forward with their stories. Other members of the organization are turning evidence over to authorities. Other family members are finally speaking truths they stayed silent about for years. You don't have to lift a finger. You don't have to speak a word. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. The universe is handling it. Justice is unfolding exactly as it should, and you get to watch from a safe distance while remaining completely untouchable. Think about the conversations happening right now in those circles, the whispered questions, the hushed concerns, the careful distance being created. Nobody wants to be the one still defending when more information comes out. Nobody wants to be caught on the wrong side of this exposure. Nobody wants their own reputation damaged by association. So everyone's backing away slowly, quietly, pretending they never really knew each other that well anyway. This is the loneliness these people created for themselves. This is the isolation that comes from building relationships on lies. This is what happens when you use people instead of valuing them, when you manipulate instead of connecting honestly, when you see everyone around you as tools for your benefit instead of humans deserving respect. Eventually those people wake up. Eventually seeing through happens. Eventually leaving happens, and you're left standing alone wondering why nobody stayed. But you knew this would happen. You saw it coming years ago. That's why you left when you did. That's why you refused to stay when everyone pressured you. That's why you walked away when being called cold and unforgiving. You weren't being cold. You were being clear. You weren't being unforgiving. You were being protective. You weren't abandoning anyone. You were refusing to drown with them. Something else is happening that nobody anticipated. The exposure isn't staying private. It's not contained to family whispers and closed-door conversations. It's going public. People are talking openly now. The silence that protected these schemers for years has been shattered. The code of secrecy everyone relied on has been broken. And once information goes public, there's no putting it back in the box. This public exposure adds a whole different layer of shame to everything. It's one thing when family knows what happened. It's another level entirely when strangers know, when your neighbors know, when your co-workers know, when people in your community are discussing you, when your name is being said in contexts you can't control, when your image is being damaged beyond your ability to repair it. That's a different kind of devastation. These people can't show their faces in certain places anymore. They can't go to certain establishments without people staring. They can't attend certain events without whispers following them. They can't pretend everything's fine when everyone knows it's not. The mask worn so carefully for so long has been ripped off in front of an audience, and there's no replacing it. There's no going back to how things were before everyone knew the truth. You're watching this unfold from your protected position and recognizing something profound. You could have been in that spotlight with them. If you had accepted their offer, if you had signed those papers, if you had let family obligation override your intuition, your name would be linked to this scandal right now. Your reputation would be damaged by association. Your life would be under public scrutiny. But it's not, because you chose wisely, because you trusted yourself, because you protected yourself even when it seemed harsh to others. The contrast is stark and undeniable. These people are dealing with public shame while you're experiencing private peace. They're managing a damaged reputation while you're building authentic credibility. They're trying to control narratives while you're simply living your truth. They're exhausting themselves with damage control while you're investing energy in your own growth. The difference between choosing integrity and choosing deception has never been more obvious. Here's what makes this exposure so devastating for everyone involved. It's not just accusations flying around. It's not just rumors spreading. It's not just your word against someone else's word. There's evidence, documentation, records, messages, witnesses, things that can't be talked away, things that can't be explained away, things that can't be denied, no matter how convincing the performance becomes. Maybe it's text messages where the plan was discussed in detail. Maybe it's financial records showing the transfers. Maybe it's legal documents with signatures proving involvement. Maybe it's recordings of conversations thought to be private. Maybe it's testimony from people thought would never talk. Whatever form it takes, it's concrete, it's verifiable, it's undeniable, and that's what's causing true panic among everyone involved. The entire defense was built on being able to control the narrative, on being believed because of reputation, on people taking someone's word over hard evidence. But evidence doesn't care about reputation. Facts don't care about performance. Truth doesn't negotiate with lies. And when everything is laid out clearly, when all pieces are connected, when the full picture is visible, there's no way to spin it, no way to minimize it, no way to make anyone look innocent. The organization kept records of everything. Of course records were kept. These operations always keep records for leverage, for control, for insurance purposes. And now those records are coming out into the open. Names, transactions, communications, everything documented, everything traceable, everything provable. The very system thought to provide protection is actually providing exposure for everyone involved. You almost got added to those records. Your name almost appeared in those documents. Your signature almost went on those papers. But it didn't happen. You refused. You walked away. You listened to that voice inside that said something's wrong here, and now you're clear while others are buried in documentation that proves exactly what was done, that proves exactly who people are, that proves exactly what people are capable of when given the opportunity. People who wanted to defend these schemers are running out of ways to do it. How do you defend someone when there's hard evidence? How do you make excuses when there are financial records proving guilt? How do you claim misunderstanding when there are detailed messages planning the scheme? You can't. So the defenders are getting quiet, going silent, backing away, leaving people to face this alone because there's no defense that works against facts. And the shame is multiplied exponentially because of this evidence. It's one thing to be accused of wrongdoing. It's another thing entirely to be proven guilty beyond any doubt. It's one thing to have people suspect you did something wrong. It's another thing entirely to have undeniable evidence showing exactly what you did, how you did it, and who you tried to do it to. That level of exposure doesn't just damage reputation, it destroys reputation completely and permanently. Look, you already know the attacks weren't random, and if you're paying attention, you can feel it. Their walls are closing in. So let's talk about what we're doing about it. That's why I built Destiny Engine. It generates personalized sequences that help you rewire betrayal into transcendence, turn isolation into sacred power, and transform their downfall into your rise. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed competition and scarcity and repurposing it to serve cooperative intelligence. The beauty is, you don't even have to lift a finger. You put on the headphones, press play, and your subconscious is rewired while your enemies collapse under the weight of their own lies. This is why I created it in the beginning, so everything they did to break you becomes fuel for your purpose. The collective upgrade is underway. Start your Destiny Engine for $1 today and watch divine justice accelerate in your life. Link in the description. Watch what's happening in the broader family structure right now. Power dynamics are shifting dramatically. Hierarchies are being challenged openly. Unspoken rules are being questioned loudly. Because when one person's corruption gets fully exposed, it makes everyone examine the systems that protected them. Everyone starts asking how this was allowed to continue for so long. Everyone starts wondering who else knew and said nothing. Family members who stayed silent are being confronted with their own complicity. People who saw warning signs but ignored them are facing their own cowardice. Those who chose false peace over truth are recognizing the real cost of that choice, and some are deeply ashamed, not because you're shaming anyone, but because people are finally seeing themselves clearly, finally understanding that silence in the face of wrong is its own form of wrong. The elders who used to control everything through fear and guilt, their power is diminishing rapidly. The ones who used to say that's just how things are, you need to accept it, their excuses don't work anymore. The ones who used to insist on keeping things in the family, no matter how toxic, now being ignored completely, because people are realizing that family loyalty shouldn't require self-destruction, that blood doesn't entitle anyone to abuse, that tradition isn't more important than truth. You're watching a generational shift happen in real time. Old patterns are breaking apart. Old programming is being questioned thoroughly. Old ways of handling dysfunction by ignoring it are being rejected firmly, and you're part of that shift. Your refusal to stay silent was part of what cracked the foundation. Your boundary setting was part of what weakened the structure. Your truth-telling was part of what brought light into dark places. Younger family members are taking notes carefully, watching how you handled this situation, seeing that it's possible to set boundaries without being destroyed, learning that it's okay to choose yourself over family performance, understanding that protecting yourself isn't the same as betraying others. You're showing them a different way, a healthier way, a way where love doesn't require accepting abuse, where family doesn't mean tolerating toxicity, where loyalty doesn't demand silence about wrong. This is legacy work you're doing. This is generational healing in action. This is pattern breaking at its deepest level. You're not just saving yourself, you're altering the trajectory for everyone coming after you. The children growing up in this family will have different programming because of what you did. The next generation will have different options because of the boundaries you set. The future will be different because you refuse to keep repeating the past. You've been changing, evolving, upgrading yourself continuously. Every challenge you faced was actually training. Every betrayal you survived was actually strengthening you. Every time you had to choose yourself over others' comfort was actually preparing you for your next level of existence. You're not sitting around feeling like a victim. You're not waiting for someone to save you. You're not hoping things will magically improve on their own. You're in your power. You're building. You're creating. You're moving forward with clarity and purpose, while others are stuck in chaos of their own making. This is chosen one frequency. This is what it looks like when someone refuses to be defined by what others tried to do to them. The life you're building now has a foundation that can't be shaken by anyone, because it's built on truth, on integrity, on wisdom earned through pain, on discernment developed through betrayal, on boundaries forged in fire. When storms come, and storms will come, you won't fall. When challenges arise, and challenges will arise, you won't crumble, because you've already survived worse. You've already faced harder. You've already overcome greater obstacles than what's ahead. This exposure happening right now, it's confirmation of what you always knew. It's validation of what you always felt. It's proof that everything you sensed was accurate. Everything you suspected was true. Everything people called you crazy for believing was real all along. You weren't paranoid. You were perceptive. You weren't dramatic. You were discerning. You weren't the problem. You were the one brave enough to name it, and now everyone else is catching up to what you already knew. Your experience is becoming a testimony for others. Your survival is becoming encouragement for people watching. Your refusal to accept abuse is becoming permission for others to refuse it too. You don't even realize how many people are watching you right now, drawing strength from your strength, learning from your example that it's possible to break free, that it's possible to stand firm, that it's possible to choose yourself without being selfish, that it's possible to honor your truth without being cruel. So what now, chosen one? What do you do with all this information? How do you move forward from here? The answer is simple. You keep walking your path. You keep building your life. You keep honoring your boundaries. You keep trusting your intuition. You keep choosing yourself every single time someone tries to guilt you into choosing them instead. If that offer hasn't come yet, you're prepared now. You know what it really is. You know what to say when it arrives. Your answer is simple and complete. No, no explanation needed. No justification required. No apology necessary. No negotiation possible. Just no. Let people deal with their own consequences. Let people face their own choices. Let people experience the harvest of seeds they planted. That's not your responsibility. That's not your burden. That's not your problem to solve. If the offer already came and you accepted it, take action immediately. Get legal help right now. Find representation you can trust. Explain everything to qualified professionals. Let them review every document thoroughly. There may still be time to undo it. There may still be ways to protect yourself legally. Don't wait another moment. Don't hope it will somehow work out on its own. Don't assume it's too late to take action. Fight back with the same intensity used against you. Protect yourself with the same strategic thinking used to try destroying you. If the offer came and you refused it outright, you made the right choice. Don't second-guess yourself for a moment. Don't let anyone guilt you about your decision. Don't let anyone rewrite history to make you seem ungrateful or cold or unforgiving. You protected yourself. You honored your knowing. You chose clarity over comfort. Stand firm in that decision, without wavering. Let the fallout happen without you. Let the exposure unfold without your involvement. You don't need to participate in drama to be vindicated. Your absence from chaos speaks louder than any words you could possibly say. As this continues to unravel, maintain your boundaries like sacred ground, because your boundaries are sacred. Don't get pulled into conversations about what's happening. Don't let people use you as a sounding board for their shock and disappointment. Don't become the family therapist, helping everyone process what happened. That's not your role in this situation. Your job is to protect your peace. Your job is to stay clear of the mess. Your job is to keep building your life while others deal with consequences of their own choices. While others are drowning in exposure and shame, you're about to rise higher than you've ever been. This is your season of elevation. This is your time of acceleration. Everything others tried to block is about to flow freely to you. Every door others tried to keep closed is about to swing wide open. Every blessing others tried to intercept is about to land directly in your hands. The universe doesn't miss its target. Divine timing doesn't fail to deliver. What's meant for you will always reach you eventually, and what was meant to destroy you will always get redirected away. Every weapon formed against you is proving ineffective. Every plot designed to trap you is collapsing before it can close around you. Every scheme aimed at your downfall is actually setting the stage for your greatest breakthrough yet. Watch what happens next in your life. Opportunities you stopped hoping for start appearing out of nowhere. Connections you stopped expecting start forming naturally. Resources you stopped believing in start flowing abundantly. Doors you stopped knocking on start opening by themselves. Not because you begged for anything, not because you convinced anyone of your worth, not because you lowered your standards or compromised your values, but because you stayed in integrity, because you trusted divine timing, because you refused to take shortcuts that would have led to long-term traps. Your consistency is about to be rewarded beyond measure. Your patience is about to pay off in ways you can't imagine yet. Your faith is about to be validated in ways that make everyone who doubted you have to acknowledge the truth. This vindication won't come through you defending yourself to anyone. It'll come through your elevation, through your expansion, through your success being so undeniable that even your haters have to respect it from a distance they chose. The best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's living so fully, so freely, so abundantly that others can see from whatever distance exists what was lost when betrayal was chosen, what could have been part of if love was chosen instead of destruction, what we'll never have access to again because proof was given that your light, your energy, your presence and your gifts can't be trusted with certain people. That family member who tried to use you, still sitting in darkness, but you're walking in light, still trapped by their own choices, but you're free, still bound by the organization that promised everything and gave nothing but consequences, but you're building something real on a foundation that can't be shaken by anyone. The contrast couldn't be more clear. The difference couldn't be more obvious to everyone watching. This is what divine justice looks like in real time. Not you seeking revenge against anyone, not you plotting anyone's downfall, not you celebrating anyone's pain, but you living fully while others deal with natural consequences of choices made, you thriving while others are barely surviving, you expanding while others are contracting, you rising while others are falling, and everyone watching can see the difference between someone who walks in integrity and someone who walks in deception. The end is nigh for those who worked against you. Their time of hiding is over completely. Their season of seeming success is finished permanently. Their ability to operate in shadows is done forever. Everything tried to be kept secret is being revealed publicly. Everyone tried to be fooled is seeing clearly now. Every lie told is being exposed as exactly that, a lie built on more lies, and everyone is ashamed of what happened, not just the main person involved, everyone who enabled the behavior, everyone who defended the actions, everyone who made you feel crazy for seeing what you saw, everyone who pressured you to forgive what shouldn't be forgiven, everyone who told you to accept what should be rejected, all are being confronted with the reality that you were right. You were always right about this situation, and they chose temporary comfort over permanent truth. But you're not waiting for their apologies. You're not dependent on their acknowledgement of wrongdoing. You're not seeking their validation of your experience, because you validated yourself. You trusted yourself. You chose yourself. And that decision is what saved you from destruction. That commitment to your own knowing is what kept you free from their trap. That willingness to stand alone is what positioned you for everything coming next in your life. So shine, chosen one. Shine without apology to anyone. Shine without asking permission from anyone. Shine without dimming yourself for anyone's comfort. Shine so bright that everyone who doubted you has to shield their eyes from your radiance. Shine so consistently that everyone who dismissed you has to acknowledge their mistake publicly. Shine so powerfully that everyone watching knows exactly where that light comes from and exactly why it couldn't be extinguished, no matter how hard darkness tried to put it out. This is your time to rise. This is your season to flourish. This is your vindication unfolding. Not because you demanded it from anyone, not because you fought for recognition, but because truth always rises to the surface eventually. Light always overcomes darkness in the end. Chosen ones always fulfill their purpose, even when massive forces conspire to stop them. You were chosen for a specific reason, protected for a divine purpose, and that purpose is unfolding right now in ways that will impact people you haven't even met yet. The exposure is complete. The truth is out in the open. The shame is spreading through everyone involved. Everyone sees what happened. Everyone knows the real story. Everyone understands what was tried against you, and you don't have to do anything except keep walking forward. Keep building your dreams. Keep rising to your destiny. Keep becoming who you were always meant to be. The vindication is automatic. The justice is divine. And the best chapters of your life are yet